dirty shirt. You're gonna get messy. It's gonna happen. So don't love your clothes too much. I've never bought an article of clothing I wouldn't climb down underneath my truck in. Ever. Not worth it. Oh wow, we're way down. See the ad and the safe mark? I'm well away from safe. So it's oil change time. Keep you up off the wet floor. Piece of dry plywood, something like that. It's always nice. Okay. Good. Today is all about routine maintenance, just the stuff you've got to do to help your truck, your car, your RV, boat, bike, doesn't matter, anything with an engine helps it go. We're talking about oil, we're talking about filter. We're going to change, the oil in my old 2001 Dodge. We're going to put a new air filter in. Find it's a great time of year just as the spring thaw comes around. All the dirt and salt and sand and stuff on the roads there, it starts clouding up. It makes it harder on your vehicle. A filter's so important. Imagine trying to breathe through like a towel. And then, imagine trying to breathe through like a wet towel. Like, terrible. You can't do it. You feel like you're drowning. It's no good. Well, vehicles need to breathe. Just like us. When you change your oil, give your engine time to cool down. You start playing around with burning hot oil and, well, I don't need to really draw you a picture. You know what's going to happen. Give your engine a little bit of time to cool down before you attempt this kind of stuff, because it's a lot nicer. Oh, and have a place to dispose of your oil too safely. Don't dump it down your well or on your flower bed or wherever. Don't do that, be responsible about this stuff. Hazardous materials, Really, other than a wrench and a drain pail, that's about all you need for an oil change. Super simple. At the bottom of your oil pan, you're going to find a single bolt. It's your drain bolt. You pull it out, keeps the oil, or allows for oil changes. This exact purpose. That's why it's there. When you unscrew it, it allows that hole to drain the oil out. It's too easy. It should all make sense when you get under there. Just be able to identify your drain pan. It's located at the bottom of your engine. Now when we pull the drain plug, we just keep kind of turning here. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And as we get ready towards the end, it's going to come pretty quick. So you got to you're either going to get a little bit of oil on your fingers, or use a socket and a ratchet with an extension. Kind of keep your hands away from there. I'm not too worried about it. I got some cleaner, so there we go. Boom. Now we're just going to let this sucker drain right out. And in the meanwhile, we could probably go and change my air filter. This is going to need a few minutes, just kind of, drain itself out. So, in the meantime, we can find something else to do. All these little things, they don't cost much. This air filter, I think, maybe $14, Totally worth it. You want to talk about gas mileage, you want to talk about, good, solid running engine. Good air filter is the way to go. And most filter boxes on these big old V8s found right at the top. You can either find the old school kind of cylinders, or a lot of them have different style boxes. So there are many different filters, but most places will be able to identify your filter for your vehicle without much trouble. Now, just these 3 clips at the top. Just undo these suckers right here. Got this little vacuum line running here. Pop this guy off. Now, we will need a flathead screwdriver. One more fastener left down here. Little flathead screwdriver, too easy. You're going to notice on the throttle body here, there's a ring that attaches the breather box to the throttle body, keeps it a nice tight seal. What you're going to want to do is loosen that off. After a few turns, the ring should stay right on the box. Just kind of give it a nice little tug, and she should come right off. Never pull too hard. You know, if you feel like you're going to break something, you probably are. So, the gasket's a little chewed up too. Might be another next episode right here. This little gasket guy goes around the throttle body. Kind of keeps a nice seal. As you can see, I got a break from here to here. It's going to allow air to get in, unpure air. Air that hasn't been filtered yet. Oh. Now, breather box off. Simply open it right up. Boom. There's an air filter. Too easy. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, it's starting to brown out a bit. Doesn't look too terrible, but you never really know just how fine of dirt's really got trapped in there and what sort of restriction to airflow is going on. So it's best play it safe, err on the side of caution. Let's have a nice shiny new one with that sucker. Oh yeah, right through. I wouldn't want to do that with this. Gross. Sometimes too, check the bottom of your box. You notice this stuff? Get some dirt going on, a little bit of debris. That stuff gets pulled in throughout the years of you driving around, doing what you're doing. Well, it's drawing in all this air. It's going to be pulling in stuff too. Sometimes I like to just kind of break some of that stuff loose. Just tap it out. If you got a little compressor and an air blower thingy, you know, give her a shot of that. Just, you know, any impurity is a bad impurity. Nice clean air. Simply, yeah, reinstall. Just like the old one came out. Boom, boom, done. That's it. That's an air filter. That's all you have to do. You're paying some mechanic and their shop rates like $100 an hour or whatever it be. You don't need to be doing all that stuff. Quick and easy. A flathead screwdriver. You just saw it. Sure, we got everything going in right here. We'll slip this sucker back together. Boom. Sure all these tabs are clear. Snap. 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 That's it. All you gotta do is reinstall this sucker. Remember how we did it? Usually, if it comes out apart one way, just put it back together the same way you took it apart. Sometimes they can be stubborn. Just be careful. Take your time. Make sure it's seated on there nice and true. That's what we're going to do here. Once you got it seated on there nice and true, you can proceed to tighten it back up. Now remember anything with a gasket. You know, there's a gasket here, there's gaskets all over the place. Just remember, it doesn't have to be crazy, crazy, crazy tight. I mean, a lot of times you tighten too much and you squash that gasket out, and it kind of loses its effect. It's supposed to have kind of a bit of sponginess, you know, to kind of be able to do its job. But when you squash it and you torque it way down, way too tight, well, you know, then you're gonna have problems. You usually feel that it's sitting there nice. Camera lights are kind of blinding me, so sometimes it's hard to see what's going on. There you have it. Little vacuum tubes, breather tubes. Make sure they're all reattached, as it were. Like so. Done. That's it. That's changing an air filter. You saw it. It only took a few minutes. It'll save you a ton of money. These are simple things. You don't need the shop. You don't need all that stuff. You can do it right out in your driveway, whether you live in the suburbs or you live, you know, out in the country, you know, underground parking lot. You can do this stuff yourself. Just a simple toolkit, no problem. Done. Now the air filter is complete. I've crawled back under the truck here, and I'm getting ready to remove the filter. First things first, though. That little bolt you pulled out of the oil pan for the drainage has to go back in. Do it immediately. It is so important. So, now the filter is not a huge challenge, but it's usually set up in, you know, higher up on the engine. Just above the oil pan on one side or the other, depending on the make or model of your vehicle. But it's really not too big of a trick. I like to buy an oil filter with a bit of a grip on it. A lot of them come with it nowadays, and it makes it very easy to kind of grab hold. Sometimes they can get a little slick with residual oil and stuff like that, grease, all that stuff that happens, and they can be tricky to remove, and you might need a appropriate wrench. It's a large circular wrench. I can show you one time. I think I got one kicking around here, but yeah, I typically buy one with some grip on it, so you can just kind of grab a hold and release it. Now, be aware that there is some oil in the filter, and maybe some in the tube. So you might want to make sure you've got your drain pan ready, because some oil can spill, and the less spilt oil, the better. So I'm just going to grab hold here. They do tighten down over years of getting warm, so sometimes they're a little stubborn. That's all right, though. I usually go. Maybe I might need a wrench, so I might get a good demonstration here. Oh yeah, she's stucky. See if I can give a good hand on it. Hi. Oh, there it is. Got my strong arm on it, and she'll come right off. Okay, got my oil pan ready here. Get my head back a little bit. You might lose sight of me, but I'm still with you. Slowly turn it out. Nice and easy. No big rush with this stuff. And yeah, as you can see, the oil's starting to drip. I'm going to keep going at it here. And boo! Presto! There's the oil filter out. Good to have a nice set of gloves. Keep some of this oil off your hand. Yeah, the oil filter is really tricky to keep clean. It's just kind of how it works. Got my new filter here, ready to go. But you have to christen it every time. See this little gasket on here? Now you don't want it to get caught up on the mating surface and maybe jar it out of position or rip it up. You don't want that to happen. So take some of this residual oil, luckily I spilled some all over my hand, and just kind of smear it on there. And it'll help promote a nice, easy, smooth mating surface. Yeah, there we go. Just that easy. I'll meet you back under there. Okay. So, we've got our new filter. It's all kind of, the gasket's lubed. You're good to go. So we simply replace it where the old filter was. Gotta stick it up on there. Sometimes it's hard to see, but make sure you're not cross-threading it. Just kind of lightly set it on the outside. Make sure it's square to the seat. Yeah, you'll notice, you'll know when the threads start going, and you're not cross-threading. If it's going hard, then you're probably doing something wrong. Should just slide on there nice and easy. See that? It just spins almost free. Yeah, that's what you want. Now, like I said, anything with a gasket, not too crazy tight. You want it tight, don't get me wrong, but not too crazy tight. The gasket has to be able to operate and do its job. And we'll get her nice and snug on there. Boom, oil filter, too easy. It's a lot nicer in summer when, if you live in a colder climate. Winter, you're going to find there can be a lot of dripping and stuff falling off the truck, and it can be kind of a pain. But, you know, if you want to save those extra bucks and be the do-it-yourselfer, these are some of the sacrifices you have to make. So, we've got the air filter done. We've got the oil filter on. We have the drain, the oil pan drained. We get the drain plug in. Basically, we're done underneath the truck, which is really nice because that's probably, you know, about the worst part of the job. Always, 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 when you go to buy your filter, remember, pick up your oil too. You're not going very far without it. So make sure you have everything you need before you start this. And I prefer to use a synthetic additive. There are many different varieties and types of these, but that's just my personal preference. Really makes no matter. But, you know, when engines get older, you do find it helps out a little bit. Okay. You'll find too, when you're pouring in a funnel, worth its weight in gold. They're not expensive, and man, do they pay off almost immediately. Now, yeah, you can consult your Haynes manual or your owner's manual to figure out exactly what's the volume of oil for your specific engine. When you figure that out, it makes it a lot more accurate when it comes to filling. Not so much guess and test work, pulling out the dipstick and trying to work your way up. So definitely, if you spend a little time, I'm sure you can find that information online too, for your specific engine, just how much engine oil you're going to need. Good to know ahead of time when you go to make your purchase so you don't buy too much or too little. Works really well. Now, usually if you're going to use an additive, any sort of synthetic, they do give you the ratio for regular engine oil to how much additive you should use. So definitely, usually the instructions are found on the additive. Keep that in mind if you're going to get into this kind of fancier stuff. So.
Oh, it's thick, eh?
Oh yeah. But it does smoothen it right out. Sometimes the old drill ride's a little rough, so I do find this stuff helps. Good compression, fuel economy, that sort of stuff. I guess the idea behind it is that, as the pressure in your engine forces things to the outside, stresses against your gasket, this will actually kind of help solidify those edges, you know what I mean? Decreasing blowback and all that weird stuff. And that increases fuel economy, so. Or that's my understanding of it anyways. It could be a bunch of malarkey and I'm just paying extra money for nothing. There. Now we can chase that with some regular 10W30. Also, in your owner's manual or the Haynes manual, it should specify, at what time of year or what type of vehicle you have, what sort of engine oil you should be running. There's all sorts of different types, so information you should know ahead of time before you make a purchase. Typically, with the 4 cylinders through the 8 cylinders gas engines, you're going to be somewhere between the 5 and 10 W30s, maybe the 20s, depending on the make and model. But it's a pretty close family when it comes to these basic cars on the road today. Oh yeah, look at that gold right there. Oh, beautiful thing, beautiful thing. Now, in some of our next videos, we're basically going to solve the problems as they hit us, because that's usually how life goes. I know I got a power steering issue in this old grill, and my rear pinion seal has been leaking for almost forever. So yeah, these are issues that we're going to kind of attack as they come. And who knows what else is going to go wrong with this thing, and we'll cross those bridges as we get to them. I prefer Castrol GTX anti-sludge, anti-wear, extra engine life formula, only because it was on sale for like $16 and everything else was like $22. So Castrol, you're it today. And don't believe all the hoopla they write on these flipping containers. It's just, it's an all an ad. It's just for advertising. Oil's oil. It'll work. Let that stand for just a second. kind of get a look at the dipstick right now, kind of find out where we're at. Take into account too that the oil has to work its way down, so give it a second to settle before you check out your marks and where everything is. Oh yeah, we're about the halfway mark right now. And we're just about coming up. So we should be able to add the rest of that container, and that should be about what we need. Like I said, give it a little bit of time. Give the oil a little time to work its way down. Make sure it's all level at the bottom of the pan. Before you go ahead, check the dipstick. Now I've given it a few minutes. So we should get a fairly accurate reading. And as if you notice, well, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see the shine of the new oil. It's right up to the safe mark. We're good. Nice and juicy. Now, while you're in here, it's always good to check out your coolant supplies and all the rest of the fluids too. The transmission fluid's like just a foot away. Typically, it's nice to check these on idle. I'm pretty confident my fluid level's okay. So but usually when the vehicle's at an idle and it's warmed up, you'd come out, pop your hood, simply pull this stick out, and you're going to get an accurate measurement of just how your transmission fluid's doing. Remember, don't trust it just as soon as you pull it out too. Always pull it out, clean it off, get a clean reading, and it's going to give you the best kind of reading for what's actually going on. We've got lots of fluid in there, so like I suspected, we are fine. Your coolant's right here. You can see right through it. I'm a little low, but not too terrible. But check your reservoir. Make sure that's got, the appropriate amount of juice in it. Since you're right here and it's only another couple feet away, just whip around to the other side. Here's your power steering. Boom. Pull that sucker right out. Nice clean reading. Oh, and we're fine. We're fine. Oh, windshield washer fluid. It's just right here, another foot away. Boom. Too easy. Lots of fluids. Our brakes right up here. You can kind of see the line right through there. Lots of fluid. We're good. But just keep an eye on that stuff. Every trip to the gas station, what's it take? Just to pop your hood, just have a quick look. It can save you thousands. It really can. One of these systems goes wrong and it can just snowball and get really bad, and yeah, you can end up, for something that could have cost you, or just a couple seconds of your time, cost you a couple $1,000s of your money. You don't want that. It didn't take very long, and that could save you tons of money. Just do it yourself. It's that easy.